Welcome back everybody, MC here with another video, and today I'm going to be back in our Terraria Expert world and continuing our Terraria Expert playthrough. Sorry about my absence over the last few weeks. I have been extremely busy with the Master Mode playthrough of Terraria on Twitch, and because I'm still on an Expert playthrough here, I decided to take a break from this and to focus on finishing Master Mode once. So the way it works is this is still expert mode, and this is still pretty much going to be content from 1.3 with some of the content from 1.4 added, but without all the new biomes. And as you can see, I literally just took one of the pylons from the store or from the Dryad, and I can use that to teleport to the jungle. So I will discuss more about the pylons very shortly, because I flew through that, of course. But first of all, we're here today and we're going to be trying to take on Queen Bee for some of the most important items that you can get in the game to get you to the early game. And the two things we're looking for are the honeycomb and the bee's knees. So we need to try and get both of those items from the Queen Bee. So those pylons very quickly are ways to teleport around the world. I might make a separate video about it. I don't know how much of a big deal it is to make a separate video, but pretty much all you need to have is you need to have multiple NPCs living in an area that they're happy in. And once you have enough NPCs, and as long as they're happy, you can buy the pylon from their store and you can set it down. And as long as you're standing next to the pylon, you can teleport from pylon to pylon, from community to community around your world. So I'm going to be fighting Queen Bee here in a moment, and I'm going to let you enjoy the fight, of course, like I always do, and then I will be back very shortly to talk more through about this playthrough. Enjoy the fight. Since this is a slightly longer fight because I'm playing in expert mode, of course, and I'm using it's the space gun, which is good to penetrate through Queen Bee's defenses, but it's not the best gun in the game to fight her with. I'd recommend the boomstick, which is actually an item that I have in my inventory if you look very closely. But the space gun is good for the early part of the fight to kill those little bees and yet still hit Queen Bee herself. Queen Bee is actually my favorite boss in the game. Queen Bee is completely optional, of course. You don't have to fight her, and I 100% recommend fighting her when you're doing a playthrough to get her items, which are very valuable for the early game. So one last little bit before I shut up again. Usually what I do is I have these three platforms, as you can see, and usually what I do is I use one platform to duck underneath her when she comes across along the top, and then I use the upper platform to jump above her when she comes across at the bottom. I stay on the bottom platform when she's shooting from above, which means I get a lot easier aim, and pretty much just rinse and repeat until she's dead. She's an interesting boss. She can be quite difficult at times if you're not careful or if you don't take her seriously, but she's not the worst boss in the game in terms of pure damage. She also puts in a poison effect on you, which is very handy if you have a Bazoar so that you can avoid the poison damage, which takes a lot of health over time. And that is Queen Bee dead. So now we must look at what we have received for killing Queen Bee, and it's very important that we get those 2 items that I mentioned. I will tell you more about the honeycomb later, because that's more of an accessory and it's actually more of an ingredient than anything. But what's most important is definitely the bee's knees. So we have to see if we got access to that. I didn't see it come up when I was picking up the items, and I will be just making sure that the area is safe. And yes, it looks like we managed to get the bee's knees. Now it is an awful bee's knees, which is awful, unfortunately, especially since we don't have the goblin tinkerer yet. We can't change the version of it that we have. But I definitely think that getting the bee's knees in the first place is most important, and then we can change it to make it better later. So that's a GG anyway, because the bee's knees is going to pretty much carry us through the early game. We're going to be able to kill Skeletron and Wall of Flesh with the bee's knees without any issues. It's definitely one of the best items against those two. It pretty much tears them apart. And yeah, I definitely want to get the honeycomb as well, but for now I think we're happy that we got the bee's knees at least. So we're going to have to farm Queen Bee a little bit. I won't show you the farming of the Queen Bee. I might show you if we do get the item, so I'm probably going to end up fighting Queen Bee a lot behind the scenes, and I won't, as I said, I won't show you every single fight because it's quite a long fight, but I will show you if we do get the item. So I like to turn on auto pause when I'm fighting bosses, particularly when I'm recording. It gives me time to think about what I'm doing a little bit more. And I usually play this game without auto pause on, but when you have to talk while you're playing and while you have to try and record, of course, it can be a pain in the hole. So I do use auto pause so that I can get a bit of extra time in between moments and have to think about what I need to do next so that I don't waste too much time. Nothing worse than when you're playing Terraria and you're just moving around with no intention, and it takes hours upon hours, and you're pretty much getting nothing done fast, you know? So the Witch Doctor has arrived. Witch Doctor belongs in the jungle as well, so he's going to be nice and happy. And he's going to be very important for the hard mode, really, because in hard mode, we're going to be getting the leaf wings from him at nighttime for 1 platinum as soon as we get into hard mode. So it's going to be very important to teleport straight to the jungle in hard mode. But I'll show you that later. That's kind of like a later on tactic. But for now, we're just going to have a look around the jungle a little bit more and see if we can find any items. We're looking for a good few items. See, the thing about the jungle is it's very important that we get some of the items here. Like, for example, to upgrade our boots, and if we want to like get a Bazaar so that we don't take poison damage, it's very important that we spend some time in the jungle and we get all the different ingredients for different accessories. The jungle is quite difficult, of course, everybody knows that, but as long as you're mindful of your health and you teleport out whenever you're in trouble, you should be fine. As long as, and the space gun is very important because the space gun helps to light up the area as well. One thing I've noticed recently is danger sense potions are like a poor man's spelunker potion. So if you ever have a danger sense potion or a hunter potion, you can actually find chests like I just did there by having them active and seeing highlighted areas that might have chests. So I never really thought of it that way, but it definitely helps to have danger sense potions when you don't have spelunker potions, especially since spelunker potions are quite expensive to make. 100% depends on whether or not how much platinum or gold you have in your world, or how much gold or platinum you have mined over the time that you're playing. So what's your favorite boss in the game if you're in the comment section below. Also, tell me what you think of Queen Bee. One thing I love about Queen Bee is the fact that she's completely optional. You don't have to fight her, but yet she's very important to your playthrough. So I love that Terraria has bosses like that you don't actually have to fight, but it's definitely beneficial when you do. So 100% recommend fighting her, or yeah, fighting Queen Bee every single playthrough. And we're looking for a couple of more items. We actually managed to hit the side of the map, which is very weird for me. I don't think I've seen the jungle on the exact extremity of the map before. It's very weird to have it all the way over here, but it is what it is, and hopefully it doesn't affect us later. At least it protects us from having corruption on both sides, but other than that, I'm sure we'll be fine. So back to base we go. I'm gonna have a look to see if I can get some more ingredients, or maybe sell some stuff. There's no point in having my inventory full to the brim full of junk. And of course I want to see if I can get some better potions and stuff like that, because at the moment I'm using for a lesser healing potions, and I would definitely like to change that at some point. So I think we are going to try and get that honeycomb next, and if we do try and get the honeycomb next, we'll be able to upgrade the spiked necklace. The spiked necklace mixes with the honeycomb, and it gives you the penetration, or the armor penetration, but it also releases bees as well. One of my favorite additions to the game. It's very small from 1.4, very small addition, but the spiked necklace has always been a great item early game, but it's always been a bit useless on its own. So I like the fact that they added the spiked necklace recipe so that you can actually upgrade it now. And I mean, releasing bees isn't exactly huge, but releasing bees when you're still on Skeletron and Wall of Flesh is fine. So it's still pretty useful for now, at least. So here is me again fighting the Queen Bee, and hopefully we can kill it this time nice and easily, and hopefully we can get our item that we're looking for. We're looking for, as I said, the honeycomb. Now, I didn't show you the whole fight here, but I will be farming Queen Bee until we get the item, so hopefully we do. And we have to just clear the area out here first before we do anything else. And let's see if we are lucky enough to have gotten what we're looking for. Yeah, so the happiness factor of NPCs as well, we're going to have to talk about that as well in another episode. But for now, we have the Witch Doctor and we have the Dryad together, so they're nice and happy. Anywho, I'm going to sell these items here. It looks like we got the bee gun, which I'm not actually going to use because I don't use the bee gun usually. It's good that we're getting plenty of bee nades. But for now, thank you very much for hanging out with us today. And we'll be back again very shortly with another episode of our Terraria playthrough. And I can show you a little bit more of our grinding for the honeycomb. So thank you very much, and I'll see you again in the next video. Bye bye!